Hello class, welcome back to StudyWeb Academy, where education is without limits. Welcome back to our English class, and let's continue looking at speech sounds. So right now I want to introduce you to components of speech sounds. So I've already looked at the first component, which is phonetics and phonology. Well, I've said we should write these two concepts in our vocabulary area to avoid forgetting, so we can have somewhere to go refer to when we are asked in future. So the first thing I talked about is phonetics, and I said phonetics basically deals with the physical production, transmission, and perception of speech sounds, while phonology examines how sounds function within a particular language and the patterns they create. Okay, the next concept is consonants and vowels. We know what consonants are, we know what vowels are. These are just, I don't want us to forget, but these are also part of speech sounds, the consonants and the vowels. Okay, so like I said, consonants are produced by restricting or obstructing airflow in the vocal tract. When you say them, when you say P, B, T, D, K, G, you notice there's some air that is being restricted from flowing out so that these words can be said. Okay, but with vowels there's no obstruction, there's no air that is being obstructed. For example, when you say a, e, o, u, these sounds come out very smoothly. For example, beat, you notice with the B you have to obstruct some air and restrict some air from flowing to say the B, but I comes in smoothly. For the word cat, you notice the C there, you have to obstruct some air so that you can say it, but with the A it's very smooth, it flows well. So these are what vowels are. Okay, so the next concept we have place and manner of articulation. So place and manner of articulation, when you talk about the consonants, mostly you want to know where is this consonant being produced. Is it like B? When you say it, you notice it's both lips that are used to say the word B. P to T, D, you notice that your lips have a say in this. Then K and G also, you notice there's something that is being used to say them. So that is the place of articulation. Is it in the teeth, lips, or the tongue? Okay, then manner of articulation. Manner is the how does the air how is the air restricted, how is the air obstructed from going out so that we can articulate these words well. So that is manner of articulation. For instance, is it a complete closure? Maybe you're saying the word P, T, you notice that there's complete closure, and then you release one so that when you want to explain, or when you want to release sounds like P, B. Is it partial closure like F, S? You notice the lips partially closed, the teeth and the lips are used to the place. So when you say the word F, the place of articulation will be the lips and the teeth. Okay, F, S, it's the tongue too. Okay, that's the place. But the manner, you notice that it's partial closure. Your lips don't close all of it, but there's partial closure. Okay, is it in the nose? For example, M, N. Do you feel the nose has to do with this? Okay, so that is how do you articulate it. Okay, so that is concept 2 under the speech sound. Then the next concept is also voicing. So here sounds can be voiced or voiceless. Here voiced sounds engage vocal cord vibration, while voiceless sounds do not. So voiceless doesn't mean totally mute, take note of that. But here voiced and voiceless means the voiced here it talks about the vibration. When you say this word, do you feel any vibration? But the voiceless it doesn't include any vibration. So sounds do not have a vibration. So if they have vibration, then we call them voice sounds. Without vibration, they are not voice sounds. So for example, Z is voiced, S is voiceless, D is voiced, T is voiceless. So one there's the vibration, another there's no vibration. So that is what we mean when we say voiced and voiceless. Okay, then we have minimal pairs. I talked about this. There are words that differ by only one sound. helping us to illustrate the importance of specific sounds in distinguishing word meaning. For example, pat and bat. There's a distinction in the initial sound, the P, B, the pa, the ba, okay? Pin and bin. Again, these are words that are almost similar, but there's a slight difference with the first consonant sound. So that is what we call the minimal pair, okay? Then we have the IPA, International Phonetic Alphabets, an alphabet that represents each sound in human language with a unique symbol. For example, this symbol here, it represents the sound for think. For example, think. This sound is presented by this sign here. Think, the sound th is represented by this sound, okay? And then this sound or this sign here represents these for the th, but we say it as this. I hope you understand the difference of what I'm talking about. So this is how you pronounce certain words. So you find that this and this, let me show you something. I want to just show you something. Let me take my pen. So you notice that this sound and this sound are the same, okay? Even when you see how they're written, this and think, when you just from seeing they're the same, but the difference comes in how you pronounce. So think, this is sounded th, and this is how it is represented. But this is like this is the sound th. So this is how it's presented, okay? So it might be written the same, but the pronunciation is different. Now let me get rid of my drawing and make my work clean, okay? So now, just to understand more on this, I will conclude on this and say that as students, we may learn about these concepts through various activities such as listening. So here, the introduction of speech sounds, we may learn concepts through activities such as listening exercise, articulation practice using IPS symbols, and analyzing how sounds are produced and perceived in different languages and dialects. So understanding this is a very, very important principle of speech sounds or speech sounds, and it's very, very important again for effective communication and language studies. When you want to pursue a course in language or linguistics, you have to be very, very good with how you articulate words with your speech too. So this is an important topic here. So without further ado, I will move to our next topic, and that is comprehension. So how many of you know what comprehensions are and how they work? So I will look at comprehensions, and here first again I will when you hear comprehension, what comes into your mind? What do you think comprehension is? Now I will go deep into this, and now comprehension refers to the ability to understand, interpret, and make meaning out of written, spoken, or visual information. It involves grasping the content. You grasp the content, the context, and intended message conveyed in text, conversations, or various communications. Now, comprehension majorly is just all about understanding, interpreting, and making meaning out of written or spoken or visual information. You hear someone say a speech of you, or you've heard someone talk, and then, or maybe you've read a book, okay, or you've read someone's written work, or you've listened to some news or some fun thing you're listening to. So how do you understand it? How do you interpret it? And how do you make meaning out of this thing you're doing? This is what we call comprehension. It involves grasping the content, context, and intended message conveyed in text, conversation, or various forms of communication. So here with comprehension, it involves you grasping the context, the content, and the intended message. You have to grasp it, and then after this, you have to understand it, and interpret it, or try find your own way of interpretation. And then lastly, after interpreting, try make out the meaning, okay? Make the meaning out of this word or this written or spoken or visual information. Try get the meaning out of it. Now that is what comprehension is. And just to say something on this, it's about developing your ability to understand written and spoken language. That's simple. It's just your ability to understand and your ability to understand written and spoken language. That is all you need to know under comprehension. Okay, now let's look at the aspects of comprehension. So the aspects in comprehension. Okay, so we have various aspects, and I will take you through some of these aspects. And the first one is reading comprehension. Students work on understanding texts of different genres like fiction, non-fiction, poverty, etc. So students work on understanding the text of different genres. These genres can be they can be fiction, they can be non-fiction, they can be poetry. And in my last class too, I think I talked about this in a deeper manner. We talked about fiction and non-fiction narrative. Okay, so your context can be in that form. So here we have to learn strategies to comprehend and analyze information and make inferences and draw conclusions from the material we read. When we read a book, we just don't want to be readers for just passing time, but we want to be effective readers. So as we read, we want to understand everything we are reading and try get the meaning out of what we are reading. So that is all about reading comprehension. Then the next aspect is critical thinking. Encouraging critical thinking is very, very crucial of comprehension at this level. Students are prompted to evaluate the content, identify the author's purpose, assess arguments, and question the text's abilities or reliabilities. So when you read a text, I want you to become an active reader. And what I mean by an active reader, sorry, I'm trying to get my presentation clear. So what do I mean by an active reader? When you're reading, you have to think critically. This involves evaluating the content, trying to understand the content. Then you identify the author's purpose. Why was the author writing about this? What prompted the author to write about this topic? Okay, so you identify the author's purpose. Then you start assessing the arguments, and then now you question the text reliability. So as a reader, you have to be active in these ways. You read and think critically. Why is the reader trying to pass this information? Do some research and even try to find out why the reader wrote such a book. And this is what we call critical thinking. And that is also an aspect in comprehension. Okay. Then the other aspect is vocabulary development. Building a robust vocabulary is important for comprehension. Students may engage in activities that introduce new words, their meanings, and how they are used in context. Okay, so as you read, you have to explore different words. When you get a text, try get new words. And like I said, do not your vocabulary corner, do not lose it. Always find words and write it there. Do not be a person who is not very responsible. You find words and you want to write them anywhere. You want to throw words anywhere. That won't be great. So just find one specific area or one specific book where you write your vocabularies, and that is will always be the book of vocabularies. This will help you retrieve words easily and be able to when you want to read something or when you want to get a meaning of a word, you can be able to get the meaning very easily instead of trying to figure out where you left some book or where did you draw this thing. Okay, so just be prepared to write down vocabularies, and this will help build your vocabulary. Okay, then the next aspect is understanding text structure. Learning how different types of text are organized is key. This includes understanding the structure of narratives, essays, articles, and more. Students learn to identify the main ideas, supporting details, and overall structure of a text. When you're reading, again, do not just read for the sake of reading, but I want you to understand your text. Understand, am I reading a narrative, or am I reading an essay? Am I reading an article, or am I just reading a book? So try understand your text structure. Okay, once you understand your text structure, then you'll be able to even attach how you pronounce words or how you say the words with emotions. Okay, so understand